You are watching No Filter with Debbie. These are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? The gushing over last night's Joe Biden speech to a joint session of Congress. As we discussed on the show yesterday, it is not a State of the Union address, which typically comes in January or February after a president's first year in office. But Joe Biden talked about this as if it was his first year in office that had elapsed before this speech. He was doing what I predicted. He was taking credit for everything that Donald Trump did and for nothing that he did. For example, the crisis at the southern border was not even mentioned. The fact that the vaccine came into play during the Trump administration because of Donald Trump and Mike Pence's efforts. Yes, it was solely because of them. Joe Biden had nothing to do with it. In fact, truth be told, Joe Biden and Jill Biden, faux Dr. Jill Biden, and Kamala Harris and her husband, guess when they were all vaccinated? While Donald Trump was president. Yes, they got the vaccine during Donald Trump's presidency. But Joe Biden acted as if everything happened in a vacuum until he became president. Then everything was because of him. Trump did nothing. This is just an absolute fairy tale. The Brothers Grimm ain't got nothing on the brother Biden. This guy is a liar. This was fiction. In addition to that, it wasn't even interesting or exciting fiction. It was snooze-worthy fiction. And in a few minutes, we will show you somebody who couldn't stay awake. And I can't blame him because it was hard for me to stay awake too. Hard for me and all the other 84 people that watched. Yes, the ratings were the lowest of any State of the Union yet. Why? Because Joe Biden is a terrible speaker. Even when somebody masterful writes his speeches, which we haven't seen yet. But let's say there was somebody masterful. We know he's not writing the speeches. A senile, demented guy is not writing these speeches, even though the facts, the alternative facts in this speech seem to have been written by somebody who's out of touch with reality. Let's say it was the best written speech. His delivery is terrible. He acts like he's about to fall asleep. I could hardly stay awake. His boring, feeble voice, the voice of somebody who is at death's door. That's what this was like last night if you didn't watch. And if you did, you know what I'm talking about. So as I said, a lot of this was exactly what I told you it would be yesterday, that he would take credit for everything Trump did, but for nothing bad that he's done that has ruined America and will continue to do so. So take a look at some of my tweets that I react with my live reaction while the speech was going on. So this was at the beginning. You'll notice that Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi are not socially distant. In fact, they're probably about 2 feet apart at best. Their bottoms of their arms, their hands, probably about a foot apart. And I wrote facetiously, I'm not really worried. I am worried that both Kamala and Nancy Pelosi, Pelosic surgery, are not socially distanced despite the fact that both are vaccinated, as is everyone in that room. So their masks are complete theater BS, which they are. Every single person in that room was masked, and every single person in that room was vaccinated, and every single person in that room was socially distanced. And you know what? The social distancing and the masks were theater. They were props. These people are all vaccinated and have been for months. They got vaccinated at the beginning. So why are they doing this? It's virtue signaling. It's baloney. All right, on to my second tweet. All right, every single thing, and I predicted this, and it's exactly what happened. Every single thing, other than higher taxes and screwing the American worker, that Joe Biden is taking credit for tonight, is something that Donald Trump did. the vaccine, the improvement in the economy, which is because of the vaccine that Trump pushed for, and many other things that are all because Donald Trump pushed the vaccine. And also because Donald Trump cut taxes and regulations against businesses, not just big business, but small business and the average American who wants to remodel their home or wants to expand their farm. Donald Trump cut a lot of these regulations, not the local ones because he didn't have the power to do that, but a lot of the federal ones. And guess what is happening? Joe Biden is now going back to the way it was before, same as it ever was. And things could have been much better in the improving economy because of the Donald Trump vaccine. But they're not going to be as good as they could have been because Joe Biden is harming the economy through his actions, whether it's through shutting down pipelines, as we mentioned yesterday, whether it's through these new emissions programs, where he claims emissions in half over 8 to 10 years, which is impossible without severely harming America and cutting jobs and ruining whole industries. All of that is stuff that is going to ruin America. That's what Joe Biden should take credit for. He mentioned some of those things, but of course, he painted it in a glossy, rosy manner, didn't tell you what's really going to happen. And we told you yesterday also about some of these taxes that Joe Biden is going to do, which he didn't go into in detail in his speech. And one of the things I mentioned yesterday was if you are a small landlord or if you are a small property owner, not a big wealthy person, but somebody that owns something that's $500,000 or more in assets, you are going to be hurt. One of the things I didn't mention yesterday that I meant to and should have, let's say you're a farmer in North Dakota. The average farm is worth more than $500,000. When you factor in all of the equipment, all of the value of the land, the seeds that you have, the buildings on the land, and so on, that is worth more than $500,000. Families are going to have to sell their farms, sell their homes, sell their property. They are not going to be able to pass it on to their kids with these death taxes we told you about yesterday and everything else. But Joe Biden didn't paint it that way last night. He painted it as fairness. The rich are going to pay. Is a farmer whose assets are worth $500,000 or more, is he or she rich? No. That's how much a farm on average is worth or more, much more. So there's that. Let's check out my next tweet. So he talked about trickle-down economics and attacked it. This is what the critics of Ronald Reagan used to do to decry and denigrate his cutting of taxes, his cutting of spending, and his cutting of regulations. They called it trickle-down economics. It's supposed to sound like you're urinating and it's trickling down. That's why they use that word. I'm not making that up. That's what they were doing when they derided Ronald Reagan. But it's really called supply-side economics. What it does is it expands the economy and jobs. We talked about this on the show yesterday. But Joe Biden in his speech last night called it trickle-down economics, and he called that cutting taxes. So I said, this guy is so freaking clueless about economics. Anyone who calls cutting taxes trickle-down economics and claims it doesn't work, which he did, is an ignorant fool. Taxing people to death kills jobs. Cutting taxes creates them. I forgot the Twitter, you need an edit button. Period. Joe Biden does not understand economics, nor does anyone on his side, anyone on the left. All right, when we come back, we will show you a video I picked out and tweeted out last night. And even Joe Biden is coming under attack from a Democrat senator, and you would be surprised by this. We'll show you what he had to say and why after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser, that reveals objects up to 150 yards away hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck, and we are talking about last night's Joe Biden address to a joint session of Congress. He acted like this was a State of the Union. He acted like the last year he's been president. He hasn't been. He took credit for everything Trump did and then tried to put lipstick on a pig on all the terrible things he is doing to America. And, you know, he's lucky because he gets to camouflage their results. Why? Because, yes, the economy is getting better because Donald Trump pushed this vaccine. It was called Operation Warp Speed. Remember that? Mike Pence was in charge of it. He put Mike Pence in charge. And he deserves all the credit. But Joe Biden is getting the credit as people come back to work, as the economy reopens. Joe Biden is going to get that credit. And as that happens, the numbers are going to be rosier. So all the things that Joe Biden is doing, killing jobs through his energy policies, where he shuts down the Keystone XL pipeline, where he cuts emissions in the next 10 years by half, where he rejoins the Paris Climate Accords, where he basically makes American companies and workers sacrifice to subsidize China's use of energy and their global warming, if there even is global warming. All of those things will be camouflaged because the numbers are still going to be rosier. The numbers are going to go up because when you start at a baseline so low, when we shut down the economy artificially for COVID, and then you reopen the economy, the numbers are only going to look better. But think how much better they actually would have been and how much more quickly we would have returned to normal, to the pre-COVID normal, if Joe Biden had not done these things. We'll never know, and we won't get to see it because that's not how it will be covered. Nobody in the media They all cover for Joe Biden and Kamala, and none of them are going to say, well, yeah, the numbers are better, but imagine how much better they would have been if Joe Biden didn't put in all of his America killing economic and energy measures. They're not going to say it that way. They're just going to say the numbers are rosier. They won't dig deeper. If Trump were president, they would dig deeper. No matter how many great numbers he had, they always made excuses and qualifications for it. When here, there's a major qualification that should have been mentioned anytime Joe Biden got the credit. They don't mention that. So we showed you some of my tweets. Here's my next one. Oh God, he's harping on Russian interference again. Also, if I hear him say that's who we are one more time, I'm gonna hurl. You have no idea who you are, who we are, or even who you are. Come up with something new. So Joe Biden said he loves saying this phrase, that's who we are, or that's not who we are, as if he knows you and me has anything to do with our lifestyle while he was living the multimillionaire life in Delaware with Secret Service protection for he and his drug addict son who didn't merit it, courtesy of the North Dakota and American taxpayer. He acts like he knows who we are, who you are, who I am. He doesn't know us. And for most of the time, he's not even sure who he is, where he is, what office he was running for or is now in. He does not know what's going on. And as I said last night, reading from a teleprompter is a snapshot in time. People who are afflicted with dementia, with Alzheimer's, with senility, they have moments in time where they are sharp. They have a routine. They read from a script. They can get it right. Even senile actors can read from a script and get it right. It's when they don't have a script. They don't have a teleprompter. They're impromptu that we see what's really going on. And we've had a lot of snapshots of that over the past year while he's been running for office and since he's been in it. We've shown you some of that on this show. And he also mentioned last night Russian interference in the elections. They're still harping on that 5 years later. Remember, they started on this 5 years ago when Donald Trump was running against Hillary Clinton, that he was allied with the Russians, that the Russians were going to interfere. And then, of course, predictably, they found that the Russians interfered. And they have no evidence that the Russians changed a single American vote. Not one. Most people that voted for Donald Trump said, tired of the border being open. I'm tired of the American worker being forgotten. I'm tired of Americans being put last in favor of the interests of China and the countries that support Islamic terrorism and all the countries that hate us. That's why people voted for Donald Trump. They didn't vote for Donald Trump because they read some propaganda from Russia or Vladimir Putin said, hey, strasvoy, hello, vote for Donald Trump, Comrade Trump. He never said that. That just never happened. But there Joe Biden is last night, 5 years later, still talking about this Russia-Trump collusion that has never been proven. Remember, there were 2 impeachments of Donald Trump. There was never a shred of evidence of any of this. In fact, he was acquitted both times. When are they going to stop with this Trump business? Yes, they didn't mention Trump, but when they're saying Russia collusion with the elections, that's who they mean. Trump is the unspoken name that is implied there. You know it, and I know it. And come up with something new. Joe Biden, if you can't talk about what you've done great for America, and you can't because you haven't, you've not done a single good thing, stop harping on Trump. He's not president right now. Everything that happens that's bad is you're doing. Everything good, well, that's been in the works. We know that. It's very obvious. Very, very obvious. All right. I think we have 1 or 2 more tweets for me. Here's the next one. All right. It's on the move again. All right. So this is a video that I tweeted, and we're going to show you that in a second. So Joe Biden says America is on the move again. But it's on the move again because Trump pushed them to make the vaccine. Your crushing taxes will ensure that America will quickly be hobbled again. Exactly. And again, we won't see it because the press won't let us know it because they'll give us rosy numbers. Let's take a look at that video.
1 day shy of the 100th day of my administration. 100 days since I took the oath of office and lifted my hand off our family Bible and inherited a nation, we all did, that was in crisis. The worst pandemic in a century. The worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. The worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. Now, after just 100 days, I can report to the nation, America is on the move again. Turning peril into possibility, crisis to opportunity, setbacks into strength. We all know life can knock us down, but in America, we never, ever, ever stay down. Americans always get up. Today, that's what we're doing. America's rising anew, choosing hope over fear, truth over lies, and light over darkness. After 100 days of rescue and renewal, America is ready for a takeoff, in my view. We're working.
All right, so he's saying America is on the move again because of him. And it was so bad. But then January 20th, when he took office, all of a sudden it just did a 180 and transformed into such a great country. Really? Then what did you do exactly, Joe Biden? What did you do to cause America to not be on the move and suddenly be on the move again, as he claimed in that segment, in that little snippet? What did you do? Nothing. There is nothing he did to cause America to be on the move again. America was already on the move. Donald Trump, again, is the one who did this by making the vaccine happen. If Joe Biden had been president, if Hillary had been president, we would all still be home. There would be no vaccine. It would be years off. We would all be home. The economy would not be opening back up. Now, we're going to go to the break soon, but I just want to mention one quote from that. So Joe Biden said, and I think we have a screen of this, in that segment, he said that this was the worst attack since the Civil War, the January 6th attack. See, that worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. Really? So, in other words, 9/11, where 3,000 Americans were murdered by Islamic terrorists with planes flying into buildings, into the Pentagon, one aimed at either the White House or the Capitol. That was not a worst attack since the Civil War. Or Pearl Harbor, where the Japanese attacked our men off the coast of Hawaii, in Pearl Harbor of Hawaii. That was not the worst attack since the Civil War. Neither of those were the worst attack. But what happened on January 6th, where one police officer died, we don't know why. Apparently, it's been now ruled natural causes. That's the worst attack in our democracy since the Civil War, but not Pearl Harbor, 9/11. What are you smoking? Joe Biden is totally out of touch with reality. All right, when we come back, we'll show more from this speech and how absurd the things he says are and how phony. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1 800 270 1219 or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Indoor football is back in Bismarck. Bucks football season is right around the corner. Grab a friend or family member for a night of action-packed, hard-hitting entertainment. The Bucks open at the Bismarck Event Center May 8th as they take on the Massachusetts Pirates. Catch the sweetest seats in the house right on the sidelines with VIP service at a Bucks turf table. Available now for single-game purchases. Secure your tickets today by calling 701-595-0771. Bucks football, half the field and double the fun.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So we're talking about some of the lies, some of the absurdities, some of the fairy tales that Joe Biden told last night that are just not believable. They're not credible. They're fake. They're phony. And everybody there knew it. Not just the Republicans, but Joe Biden and all of his faux supporters on the left who really don't like him that much. But they needed to beat Trump, and that's why they supported him. So I want you to take a look at what he said about cancer versus a quote from Obama's State of the Union. Look at this. So last night, Joe Biden said, "Let's end cancer. It's in our power to do it." Well, let's see. It's now 2021. So if my math is correct, 12 years ago, in 2009, Barack Obama made Joe Biden his cancer czar. And he said in either the State of the Union or the address to the joint session of Congress, "We will launch a new effort to conquer a disease that has touched the lives of nearly every American, including me, by seeking a cure for cancer in our time." And he made Joe Biden his cancer czar at the time. That was 12 years ago. Joe Biden didn't make any progress. Guess what? There's still cancer. It hasn't been cured. And actually, very few advances have been made in some of the most fatal cancers that there are, like pancreatic cancer, which killed my late father, like brain cancer. A lot of these things are fatal, and there is no cure. And you're not going to cure people from it because Joe Biden did nothing as the cancer czar. He did a lot more as the czar for making Hunter Biden money off Ukraine and China as vice president than he did as the cancer czar. So for him to make the same promise, essentially, as Barack Obama made, the same empty promise, they both know is not going to happen. They're not going to concentrate on it. Obama knew it then, Biden knew it then, and he knows it now. One thing we can say is that that 2 out of 2 Joe Bidens agree. Joe Biden of 2009 knew this was going to happen, and Joe Biden of 2021 knows this isn't going to happen. He's not going to cure cancer. Why? Because he does not care. And also because he is making it so that there aren't incentives for people to want to cure cancer. Remember, Who develops a lot of these cures? It's the drug companies. Guess what happens when you tax and spend the heck out of companies? You don't just do it out of companies that are not drug companies. They don't get an exemption. They all put their money overseas. They put their money in tax shelters. They don't develop products. They don't put the money into investing in that. They just don't. So Joe Biden is not going to cure cancer. He is taking away the economic incentives to do so. Capitalism is what cures cancer, not socialism, not Marxism, not Bidenism, which is the same as the combination of the last two. Now, Joe Biden said something about education. We're going to show you a clip now. Take a look.
I would say parenthetically, if we were sitting down, we set a bipartisan committee together and said, okay, we're going to decide what we do in terms of government providing for free education. I wonder whether we'd think, as we did in the 20th century, that 12 years is enough in the 21st century. I doubt it. 12 years is no longer enough today to compete with the rest of the world in the 21st century. That's why my American Families Plan guarantees 4 additional years of public education for every person in America, starting as early as we can. Jill is a community college professor who teaches today as First Lady. She's long said, if I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. Joe, any country that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. She'll be deeply involved in leading this effort. Thank you, Jill.
Well, that's already happening, and they don't get it. That's a glittering generality and jingoism, but we're already being out-educated. And the reason we're being out-educated is because of Joe Biden, his party, and the left, which they worship at the altar of, and which they are beholden to. The left does not want to teach our children how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply, how to read, how to analyze things with critical thinking skills, and how to sharpen those skills. No, instead, we are teaching kids how to hate themselves for being white, how to hate America because its history is slavery, and America's the worst in the world. That's what they're being told. And you know what? China, which is out-educating us, is not teaching wokeness and social justice warriorship. No, they're not. They're teaching the basics. We are not. So saying, well, the other countries out-educate us, but if we out-educate them, who cares? You could say that all you want. If you are not going to teach real education at schools and you're going to teach neo-hippieism and anarchy, and you're going to sow the seeds of hatred in America, and that's what you call education, we will always be out-educated, and we have been for decades since this began in our schools and colleges and universities, and it's not going to stop until that stops. We will always be out-educated, if that is the education. All right, when we come back, we will talk more about the State of the Union, show you some more clips. We'll show you 2 senators that did not have positive reactions to this, and one is a Democrat. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. We are talking about the fiction and the fraud of Joe Biden's speech to the joint session of Congress last night. And we have a picture of somebody who fell asleep, and who can blame him? Senator Ted Cruz. Take a look. Look at that. He could barely stay awake. He actually lost that battle. And I almost lost that battle. And you know what's interesting? It had one of the lowest viewerships, the lowest in history of televised State of the Union addresses, the lowest. And there are polls coming out saying, well, 85% of the American people approved of Joe Biden's speech. First of all, 85% of whom? Not the American people, because who watched this show? Maybe 85% of 85 people. There weren't a lot of people watching. And how many of them stayed awake? And how many people who answered this poll actually saw this and sat through it? Not many, I would guess. All right, now Senator Mark Kelly, a Democrat, had this to say about what Joe Biden had to say. So Joe Biden barely skimmed the immigration question, and he glossed over it. There's no crisis at the border. And Mark Kelly said, while I share President Biden's urgency in fixing our broken immigration system, what I didn't hear tonight was a plan to address the immediate crisis at the border. And I will continue holding this administration accountable to deliver the resources and staffing necessary for a humane, orderly process as we work to improve border security, support local economies, and fix our immigration system. So he was criticizing Biden for his immigration policy, but I actually don't know what that says. Is he saying we need to stop admitting all of these people into our border without checking out who they are and without limiting this and telling them to go home? No, he didn't say that. He said he wants more staffing. He wants it to be more humane. He wants to fix the immigration process. Whenever anybody says fix the immigration process, or they say comprehensive immigration reform, you know what that means? That means amnesty. He doesn't want to use those words because people in Arizona, that's a border state. There are a lot of people on farms and ranches who have illegal aliens swarming onto their properties. They don't want this. He cannot afford to lose their votes. In an election year where Trump is not on the ballot and people who don't like Trump are not coming out to vote, he could lose. He can't afford to say that, but what he just said is gobbledygook. He's trying to appear like he's criticizing Biden, but he's not really saying anything. Not strong enough. I'll tell you who I thought was very strong last night and who was definitely a star of the Republican Party, but I do think he should have been even stronger. And I don't think he should have been defending America on the defensive. He should have been on the offense, saying not that America is not a racist country. He should have said the Democrats are racist. The Democrats are socialists. They are Marxists. What is the difference between them and what the left is doing all over Europe? That's what he should have done. But still, his speech I thought was really good. And these are the parts I particularly liked. I picked out the segment I liked. Senator Tim Scott, check it out.
The actions of the president and his party are pulling us further and further apart. 100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all, by doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal. You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present. I'm an African American who's voted in the South my entire life. I take voting rights personally. Republicans support making it easier to vote and harder to cheat, and so do the voters. It will be easier to vote early in Georgia than in Democrat-run New York. But the left doesn't want you to know that. They want people virtue signaling by yelling about a law they haven't even read. Fact checkers have called out the White House for misstatements. The president absurdly claims that this is worse than Jim Crow. What is going on here? I'll tell you, a Washington power grab.
Exactly. He's absolutely right. That was the best part of his speech where he said, we're not a racist country. I would have, again, pushed back and said, not only are we not a racist country, the racists are the people who are calling it a racist country. The racists are on the left in Joe Biden's party. And, you know, one of the things that happened after he gave that speech was he was viciously attacked all over social media and called some of the most racist names and epithets by whom? By the left, by Democrats. Yes, they're not as woke as they pretend to be. They're only woke when they're on the side of their people. But when somebody goes off the trail of what they expect, I can't say off the reservation because I know now that's racist, but it's racist. But when somebody doesn't toe the line, they're called an Uncle Tom, which he was last night and many times over his career. And, you know, Donald Trump's Surgeon General, you remember him, he was at a lot of the press conferences. He said that this has happened to him his entire life as well. And ever since he's been involved in politics with Donald Trump, that he's been called Uncle Tom, he's been called the N-word. Senator Scott was called the N-word last night. These people are not woke. They're phonies. And this is what happened. All right, we have so many other clips from last night. Let's take a look at one or two of them. So this is a clip on the minimum wage from Joe Biden.
Let's raise the minimum wage to $15. No one working 40 hours a week. No one working 40 hours a week should live below the poverty line. We need to ensure greater equity and opportunity for women. And while we're doing this, let's get the Paycheck Fairness Act to my desk as well. Equal pay. They spent much too long And if you wonder whether it's too long, look behind me.
Again, he does not understand economics because when you raise the minimum wage, guess what? The poverty line, the poverty rate, it gets raised. The economy adjusts. And that $15 an hour is not going to make you above the poverty level anymore. It's not going to lift you up because the economy adjusts. And guess what? Everything costs more. People making $15 an hour still can't afford things. In fact, it gets worse. Prices get raised, the cost of services get raised, and pretty soon they're asking for $30 an hour or $25. Why not raise it to that? And then he talks about women. Guess who is the most hurt by minimum wage jobs? By the minimum wage? Minorities, inner city youths, young people, and women. Why? Because that's how they get the experience. They're not going to get these jobs to get experience because the jobs will be cut. When you raise the wages, the jobs are cut, or the price of everything else goes up, or both. Does not understand economics. All right, when we come back, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, he advertises on this network. He went on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I have some observations about that. We have some video. And also, Michael Collins, the astronaut, rest in peace. We have some observations about that too. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Beck Communications is hiring.
Beck Communications is now seeking qualified applicants for promotion commercial producer position in our Bismarck Beck location. This position will assist Beck News and Beck Sports.
To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, who really has a very fascinating life story, went from being a drug addict and convicted criminal to being a multimillionaire who created a product that a lot of people love. My Pillow advertises on this network. Now, I don't agree with everything Mike Lindell says politically about the election and so on, but I think he's a decent, classy guy. And he was very brave. He went on Jimmy Kimmel Live last night. Jimmy Kimmel is a pig. He's a horrible person. He forgot that he's supposed to be a comedian. And back in the day, actually at the very beginning, when he made fun of Obama and the Democrats, and he made fun of everyone, the way Jay Leno did, he was funny. Now he's become one of these self important left wing commentators. He forgot how to be funny. He forgot that he's a half rate late night comedian, not a social justice warrior. But he wants to vacation with celebrities, which he does. And he has to suck up to them and kiss their butts. The way he treated Mike Lindell last night was absolutely despicable, but it backfired because Mike Lindell's a classy guy and he was a good sport. And Jimmy Kimmel came off as the arrogant, smartest guy in the room that nobody likes. Check out the video.
Federal government, which at the time was run by people who were appointed by the Trump administration,
we
looked into this.
We pay for all these machines.
They say it is the most secure election we've ever had.
No, he said that. The same guy.
Well, I mean,
the same guy. That was Chris Krebs. That was Chris Krebs that said that. Do you know 3 weeks ago, Chris Krebs and Adam Schiff were on Morning Joe, and they asked him, what's the biggest threat to our country right now? And they said, a China attack, cyber attacks from China, right down to local races. Chris Krebs said that. He didn't know about this.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with this.
When he said it was a secure election, he did not have this on January 9th. This was
I'm going to suggest to you that maybe it's a coincidence and that maybe this information that you have that you believe in, I mean, let's be honest, your website doesn't even really work so well. Why would you think that you have broken this code of all people?
It wasn't me that broke it. They brought it to me.
But
and
these people are not...
The only reason they did, Jimmy, is because I have the voice.
I worry about you. I feel like you are maybe self-destructive, like you have lost everything repeatedly so many times in your life. You've had a bar, you know, all of these things. You know the story.
Yeah.
But now you think maybe that's what... I mean, now I feel like you're going to be out dressed as Spider-Man on Hollywood Boulevard at the end of this whole thing. Dominion is suing you for $1.3 billion.
You got to realize My Pillow countersued them and what Alan Dershowitz said will be the biggest lawsuit, the most important in history.
Right, and we'll
for the
see how it
First
turns
Amendment
out.
right of free speech.
Well, for one of you, this is not going to work out well.
What made me do this is just like when I met Donald Trump on August 15, 2016. I didn't know anything about politics, but I met this man that had problem, solution, and he knew what they'd manifest to. And I went out, talked to his employees. I got there, wow, this guy could be the greatest president ever. I talked to his employees, and every one of them said the same thing. I went back to Minnesota, and I said, I did a press release to the press. I was the media's darling. And all of them go, you know, I do this press release. I said, I met him. Didn't even tell him what we talked about. And I was attacked like you've never seen. And I'm going, they called me a racist. They called me everything you could imagine. And I'm going, and I thought they were real people. You know, I'm going, wow, what did I do? I just said I met this guy. You know, I had not been into politics. So I got behind a person that he kept his promises. I had vetted him, and I'm not going to change on something I have that I vetted. Now, if I didn't have this evidence, Jimmy, it'd be different. But I have it. It's real. So people can say, oh, you're an ex-crack addict, so your brain's not right. Well, you know what? They can say all they want. It's going to come out. I keep putting the evidence out. It's going to come out.
You saw that. Those were the clips, by the way, where Jimmy Kimmel sort of let him talk. But as you could see, he was talking over him. He was completely disrespectful. He told him, I'm worried about you. You're so self-destructive. You're going to be Spider-Man on Hollywood Boulevard. Take a look online on YouTube of Jimmy Kimmel's pandering interview of Hunter Biden, who was a drug addict, who sold out America, who was using drugs in the last year during the campaign, who made billions of dollars from the Chi-Coms and Ukraine off of America. He is so respectful and pandering to Hunter Biden. And then he treats Mike Lindell very shabbily. And I think Mike Lindell came off very well. Jimmy Kimmel came off, again, as arrogant, a know-it-all, and rude. and I tweeted about it. Check out my tweet that makes all the liberals' heads explode. So I tweeted this. I got lots of people retweeting this, and then a lot of liberals sending me memes that I'm nuts, that I'm an idiot, this and that. And I said, while I don't agree with everything Mike Lindell says, I'll take him any day of the week over self-righteous know-it-all Jimmy Kimmel, who forgot how to be funny. So far, Lindell is owning Kimmel, and Kimmel can't believe it. Yeah, because you know why? Nice and classy always wins over creeps. All right, now, we're nearing the end of the show, and we're not going to be able to show you the whole video, but to my producers, I want you to show at least part of this video of the late astronaut Michael Collins, who went into space as one of the 3 astronauts to go to the moon, and he was not allowed to go on the moon because he had to operate the spacecraft, and the other 2 went on the moon. He did not. So he was kind of like the 3rd man, and he never got the credit and the adulation. Anybody else that would crush them. But he was such a classy guy. Take a look.
Was there any part of you that was like, I wish I could have done that too?
Well, sure. I wish I could have walked on the moon, but I can say with the utmost honesty, I was thrilled to have the place that I had, to be 1/3 of John F. Kennedy's culminating dream. So I have absolutely no beef whatsoever.
Kennedy's dream fulfilled with those first steps, but the voyage home was anything but certain.
What worried me was the return, the coming back. On the surface of the moon, we just had one ascent engine. The fire had to catch, it had to produce the right thrust in the right direction. If one of those things didn't work right, they were dead.
The lunar module's rockets did fire, and as it drew closer to the command module, Collins took this picture. He is the only...
All right, so we had to cut that off because it's the end of the show, but what a classy guy. Instead of worrying about, I didn't get to go on the moon, he worried about getting everybody home safely. He didn't want to be the only one to return. What a classy guy. They don't make them like that anymore. Remember, things aren't always as they seem. See you tomorrow. Rest in peace, Michael Collins.